Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Max Rebo Music Theory course,
Hit it, Max.
for which Max Rebo has little to no actual involvement. In our last lesson, Key Signatures, we discussed how the accidentals used at the beginning of a piece, known as a key signature, are created using the notes from the major scales. If you haven't seen that video yet, or just want a review, I'm going to put a link in the top right corner and in the description down below in case you want to review that before moving forward, since everything is going to make a lot more sense if that material makes sense first.
A great leap forward often requires first taking 2 steps back.
We mentioned in our major scale lesson that there are 7 notes in a scale before we begin to repeat letter names and have therefore arrived at the octave. In any scale, each of those 7 notes serves a function, and because of the way it relates to the other notes in the scales based on those similar intervals of the scale, each note in a scale's function can also be heard and observed. So, in order to talk about these functions based on a note's location in a scale, we number the notes in a scale beginning with 1 and counting through all of the notes until we reach the 7th note. And once we begin repeating letters, we also begin repeating numbers. Therefore, if we think back to our C major scale, every C would get the number 1.
Hey, BD1. I'm Cal.
Every D would get the number 2.
What is its number?
R2-D2, Your Highness.
Thank you, R2-D2.
Every E would be 3.
And I am C-3PO, Human-Cyborg Relations.
Every F, 4.
R4, be careful, you have a...
Every G, 5.
ND5 has the list. Track him down. Get our crew.
Every A, 6. And every B, 7. We would never get to the number 8 with this process, since by the time we get to 8, we've already come back to C and 1. The numbers are referred to as scale degrees in music and become an important part of how we discuss tonal music and how it functions. So whatever major scale or key signature that we are using, the note that the scale or key is being named after is 1, and then you simply count through the scale to give each other note a number as well. As an example, if we were in the key with 6 flats, we would call this G flat major because the second to last flat is G flat. Therefore, the note G flat is the first scale degree, or 1. The A flat is 2, B flat is 3, C flat is 4, D flat is 5, E flat is 6, and F is 7. In addition to numbers for each scale degree, we also traditionally assign a nickname for each of the scale degrees as well. Think of it as a title for each scale degree describing the function of it as well. The first scale degree is also known as the tonic. This is what's known as the tonal center that everything else is going to revolve around. Think of the tonic as the center of a galaxy with the strongest gravitational pull. Everything else will want to return to it. If we go up a step from the tonic, we arrive at the second degree, or what's known as the supertonic. Super refers to above in this case, since we are simply one step above the tonic. So, supertonic. The third scale degree is known as the mediant. This is in reference to the fact that it is in the middle or halfway between the tonic and the very important dominant 5th scale degree that we'll talk about in a moment. The 4th scale degree is known as the subdominant, and you can think of this name in 2 ways. First, it's the note just below what we're going to call our dominant. Sub refers to below, so subdominant is below the dominant. However, it also takes the same distance to go up the scale to our dominant as it does down the scale to our subdominant. So the sub portion can also be in reference to that. In either case, the 4th scale degree is the subdominant. Then we go to the 5th scale degree and our actual dominant. As the name suggests, this scale degree is going to play a very important role throughout all tonal music. Therefore, it dominates discussions and music. So, the 5th scale degree is the dominant. The 6th scale degree, which is the same distance below the tonic as the mediant was above it, is known as the submediant then. And it is also in the middle of our tonic and subdominant, so the 6th scale degree gets the name submediant. Finally, our 7th scale degree gets different names depending on its very specific function. For now, we're going to just refer to this as the leading tone because it wants to lead up a half step to the tonic. It has the strongest gravitational pull of any note, and so we name it for that desire to lead. So the 7th scale degree is the leading tone. Now, soon we'll begin to talk about minor scales, and when we do, we'll also talk about a 7th scale degree that is a whole step below the tonic. When this occurs, we'll actually call it the subtonic, meaning that it's a step below the tonic. But that will be for another day.
A good question. For another time.
Now, in actual practice, the only names we really use are the tonic, dominant, and sometimes the subdominant or maybe even the leading tone. But for the most part, we just simply refer to these scale degrees as their numbers. But it's still important to know these names in case they ever come up or are referenced by someone in the future. So remember, we number the notes of a scale or key signature in ascending order beginning with 1 for the first note. If we were in A major, A would be the first scale degree or tonic, B would be the second scale degree or supertonic, C sharp would be the third scale degree or mediant, D would be the fourth scale degree or subdominant, E would be the fifth scale degree or that very important dominant note, F sharp would be the sixth scale degree or submediant, and G sharp would be the seventh scale degree or leading tone. After that, we return to A, which is still 1 and the tonic. Scale degrees are crucial in the role of tonal music and are always referred to when we discuss how music wants to function, and I encourage you to practice this on your own as well to help translate the music you see. My next video will discuss the minor scales that I mentioned before, and we'll also see scale degrees involved there as well. But let me know in the meantime if you have any questions about scale degrees. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to learn more about the music of a galaxy far, far away. And as always, may the be with you.